Abu Bakr Arman, a former special envoy of Somalia to the United States of America. Abu Bakr, welcome.
Thank you, Matt, for inviting me.
Let's move to the points of the conference. The first one is improved security. Conference will focus on the Somali security architecture that the federal government must agree with the federal member states, including what the future of national army should look like and how to counter terrorism while protecting human rights. Could you talk about what this security architecture is and who's behind it?
Yeah, I think that's the million-dollar question. The only thing that we can say with certainty is it's definitely not a Somali expert conclusion, military experts' conclusion. In fact, all of them that I'm aware of have openly criticized that in various media. The Parliament Committee on for Security has vigorously criticized this whole security pact. The draft, some people who are in the inner circles mentioned to me that the draft was there even the latter days of the last administration. And the numbers were disputed by the previous administration. Ironically, it's accepted by the current one. And those numbers are just practically a joke. And then they would have to come from each region. They'd have to come up with 3,000.
Which actually, I don't mean to interrupt you, but which actually moves me to my next question. But before I do that, I wanna read you a line from an article written by Ilya Gritnev and Brian O'Sullivan, who are researchers for Sahan Research, Nairobi. Somalia's current security apparatus remains ill-prepared to take over the responsibility for the provision of state security should AMISOM forces withdraw prior to 2020. And they say that confronted with this deadline, the international community is contemplating a paradigm shift in the nature of the support to Somalia's security sector, pivoting from a highly centralized approach to one more closely aligned with the country's new federal structure and political realities on the ground. And this was written actually in November 2016. And they're talking about who's behind it. And they say S6 Group, which includes the main donors to Somalia's security sector, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, European Union, United States, United Kingdom, and United Nations. Do you think the security agenda in London conference is actually is related to this writing by these two gentlemen?
It could very well be, and I don't know, but it's definitely something that's much bigger. They could be the technical, they could have provided the technical expertise and so forth and so on. But I think there's a much bigger purpose in introducing numbers like this and insisting on it. Because apparently somebody has whatever plan for this country, and we're just going to go with the safe one. And the safe one, in this case, the safest would be just to keep Somalia in a security dependency on foreign military and what have you. So as long as you're that, or as long as the government is entirely dependent or on foreign military, then you cannot be a sovereign nation that can drive its own fate. You're no different than the transitional governments of the past. And so what progress has been made substantively would be questionable. So as long as the Somali government is every time that the Security Council hears a report or every assessment that's made on the Somali government is that here's a government that cannot even control Mogadishu in its entirety, let alone the entire parts of the nation. Now, who would such conditions serve best? Well, making Somalia entirely dependent and fragmented with or through clan militias, which would be the 3,000 of the 18,000 soldiers that they're proposing with the security pact, would be coming from all six federal states. As you're aware, one of them is not official yet, but the other 5 are in place. So each one would come up with 3,000 soldiers, and these would be, of course, everybody understands that it would be clan soldiers, basically.
The states are not established. So how do they expect the states to come up with security force? I don't understand that. You want to talk about that?
That's exactly what I was trying to say. No one is expecting them. I think the people who designed this formula understand exactly what they are doing. But in the past, at least, they were allowed to act as though they were states. They had foreign policy of their own, foreign relations of their own. They had military independence from the command structure of the Somali defense ministry, and they still do, to a certain degree, most of them at least. So now you give each of those 3,000 new soldiers that's paid by the international community. And as you said, it cannot help them defend against anybody except when they're fighting other clans, which they would end up doing that. So now you have a highly volatile political situation in each of those federal states. But you give them now 3,000 of the Alpha clan, many of that particular federal state, the dominant clan would be dominant in those 3,000, and they would be used according to the wishes of each of those federal state presidents. It's a sad commentary, but that's the reality. That's what we've got in our hands.
It is.
And that's why I said this was a bad deal all across.
Okay, Awaka, thanks for participating in this, and until we do another one next time, wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Awaka. Thank you.